welcome to Fong's Fables. Let's start the story. So this happened a few days ago. I was on the bus, minding my own business, when I sat next to this old lady. She looked at me with this weird mix of gratitude and something else. Then she hit me with, "Girl, do you want to live or die? You won't live long, you know." Excuse me, what? I turned to look at her. She was ancient, dressed in some gray linen robe with beads hanging from her chest, but she had this weird energy, like some kind of master? I don't know how else to describe it. Then she asked me, 5 days ago, did someone near you give birth? You've been killed. Do you want to live or die? And that's when my stomach dropped. Because, 5 days ago, my best friend Melaine, who had been ghosted by a dirtbag ex, suddenly reappeared in my life. She had been missing for 6 months. Turns out she was pregnant. I took care of her for a while, and then last week she suddenly had stomach pains. I rushed her to the hospital, but the baby came early, in my car. Ever since then, I felt off. Dizzy, exhausted, bad dreams, no appetite. And oh yeah, I got hit by a car 2 days ago. So, yeah, when this grandma started saying all this, I was shook. Then she drops this. "Miss, $30,000. I can help you." And just like that, the spell broke. Are you kidding me? A scam? I was this close to falling for it. I straight up told her, "Nah, lady, go scam someone else." But instead of getting mad, she just shook her head, pulled out this yellow piece of paper, and shoved it into my hand. "If you don't believe me, go home. Check the southeast corner of your house. There's a ceramic doll. Its eyes are red. Burn this paper in front of it before dawn." What now? I don't remember owning anything like that, but something about the way she said it made me uneasy. She got off at the next stop, but turned around before leaving. "Miss, believe it or not, I'm Mrs. Cheen. Here's my card. You'll know where to find me." I didn't even want to touch that card, but my hands were numb. My chest felt tight. At that point, I figured I should just go to the hospital, get checked out. Maybe it was just stress. Doctor says I'm fine. Totally fine. Just don't stay up late. Cool, love that for me. But then, while leaving, I overheard 2 nurses talking. "Hey, Miss Lee, that woman who just had a miscarriage? Yeah, she left today. But get this, the baby had some congenital disease. It was doomed from birth. But the mother refused to believe it, even insisted on taking the baby home. And it was weird, kid was premature. I heard it was born in a car. A car. A premature baby. My car. I felt every hair on my body stand up. Because here's the thing, I saw that baby in my rearview mirror that night. It never opened its eyes. It never cried. I just assumed that's how newborns are. But now I don't know. And then I remembered what that old woman said. She was pregnant with a dead fetus. She borrowed your life and became a lucky fetus. Your luck and your life were borrowed. I went home and I did what she told me. Used a compass to find the southeast corner of my house. It was my study. I checked everywhere, pulled books off the shelves, nothing. Then my husband came home. "What are you looking for?" "Oh, just a possibly haunted doll. No big deal." I thought to myself. I lied and said I was looking for a book. He offered to help. I gave him a random title and let him do it. But as I sat on the couch, sipping water, I glanced at the study. The door was slightly open, and through the gap, I saw my husband pushing something behind the 3rd bookcase. What was he doing? What was he hiding? That night, when he was asleep, I crept back into the study, locked the door behind me. The 3rd bookcase. I searched, found a hidden switch, and pressed it. The wood slid open, and inside, in a dark little compartment, was a ceramic doll. Its eyes were red, blood red, and in the dim light, it felt like it was watching me. I was frozen. My ears started ringing. And then, I heard it. A baby's laugh. No, not just a laugh. A laugh that turned into a cry. And then back to laughter. Over and over. It was everywhere. Inside my ears. My head. My bones. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. And then, the talisman in my pocket flew out. It glowed yellow. And just like that, I could move again. I grabbed the paper. Grabbed a lighter, held it up to the doll, and as the flame took hold, I swear to God, the baby screamed. And then everything went silent. So I did something really stupid last night, and now I think I might actually die. Let me back up. Last night, I found this creepy ceramic doll hidden in a secret compartment in my house. Its eyes were red, like not painted red, but bleeding red. I don't even know how to explain it, but the moment I saw it, I swear I heard a baby laughing, and then crying. And then both at the same time. I freaked out, but instead of getting rid of it, I did the dumbest thing possible. I put it back. I didn't want to tip anyone off that I knew it was there. When I stepped out of the study, my husband was standing right in front of the door, staring. His eyes were blank, like he wasn't fully there. "Wifey," he said, voice weirdly hoarse. "What are you doing in the study so late?" I felt my stomach drop. My husband doesn't call me wifey. It was so unnatural I could barely breathe. "Oh, nothing." I forced a smile. "Just needed to grab some notes for work. Let's go to bed." I pushed past him. He let me go, thank God, but something about him felt off. Why was he in the study in the middle of the night? And more importantly, why did he have a hidden compartment with that cursed doll inside it? The next day, I went straight to Mrs. Cheen, the old woman who had warned me on the bus. I begged her for help. I thought since I burned the talisman paper like she told me to, I'd be safe. But when I told her, she just shook her head and sighed. "That only bought you a few more days." My heart dropped. "What do I do?" She held up 3 fingers. I didn't even wait. I transferred $30,000 to her immediately. I don't care if she's a scammer. At this point, she's the only lifeline I have. She took me to her house, this tiny gray, incense-filled place with talismans hanging from the walls, and gave me a jade pendant. "Keep this on at all times," she said. "The ceramic doll was placed in your home to harm you. It was drawn to your blood. And if that's the case, something even worse is lurking nearby." "Worse?" I don't even want to know what worse means. She handed me a red talisman paper. "Find whatever is behind this. Wrap it in this. Drop your blood on it. Bring it to me." That's when it hit me. Melaine. She came over recently. The only time I bled was when I accidentally cut my hand while slicing apples for her. My husband was the one who bandaged it. Could she have taken my blood? And if so, did he help her? I needed answers. So I went to visit Mel. She looked too good, like suspiciously good for someone who just gave birth. I played it cool, made up some excuse about feeling unlucky, and going to a master for help. She panicked. "Oh, don't be silly. You're fine. You're lucky. You've always been lucky. You have a great husband, a great job. You don't even have dark circles under your eyes." She was way too defensive. That's when the old woman in her house came in. "One eye. Only one." She handed me a cup of water and stared at me with her single eye. My stomach turned. I wasn't about to drink that. "Let's go see the baby," I said quickly. Melaine tried to stop me. "Oh, he's sleeping, maybe next time." I didn't listen. I pushed past her and into the room. The baby was lying there. Only it wasn't moving. It was too still. Its face was pale, eyes dark and sunken. It didn't look alive. It looked like the ceramic doll. That same cold, lifeless stare. My heart started hammering. The baby. The doll. My husband. Melaine. They're all connected. And I think I've just walked into something I can't escape. I think my husband is trying to kill me. No. Scratch that. I know he is. Last night, I went to check on Melaine's baby. But the second I got close to the room, my legs locked up. Something in my gut told me not to go in. I forced a smile. "Baby's sleeping? All right, I won't bother him." Melaine let out this relieved breath, like she'd been holding it in. Then she grabbed my arm, practically dragging me back to the living room. She even called that blind old woman over to check on the baby, like she was proving something. I sat on the couch, pretending to chat, but my mind was racing. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. I left soon after. As I stepped out of the building, I heard laughter behind me. A strange, high-pitched giggle echoing from the stairwell. That night, I woke up suddenly. The bed was empty. My husband was gone. I moved quietly, creeping toward the study. That's when I heard his voice. "Mom, what do I do now?" The ceramic doll stopped laughing. "Do I still need to use his blood for the eyes?" "Mom!" My husband told me he was an orphan. He lost his father young, his mother later. Even Melaine told me the same thing. But now he was on the phone with her. "It's fine," the woman said. "The doll is already connected to him. Just a minor setback. The 2 things I gave you won't fail. Tomorrow night, at the full moon, bring the baby. Drop that bitch's blood in his mouth. That's it." "Okay, Mom. We'll finally succeed this time." And then he laughed. The sound made my skin crawl. I pressed myself against the wall, legs shaking. Tomorrow night. That's when I die. I almost collapsed, but I forced myself to stay quiet. My husband must have heard something, because I heard him shift in his chair. I barely made it back to bed in time. I shut my eyes tight. He opened the door. He walked toward me. I could feel his eyes on me. The next morning, he didn't wake me up. He even locked the bedroom door. I texted my parents, asking them to call him and say they wanted me home for a visit. The moment he answered, I deleted the chat. I heard his voice through the door. "Oh, father-in-law wants her to visit? Well, of course. She should rest at home." He agreed instantly. I felt sick. Before I die, he wants me to sign over another house to him. Greedy bastard. I pretended to be sick. I rubbed my face until it was hot to the touch. "Darling," I mumbled weakly, "I don't feel well. Can you take the day off for me?" He hesitated, then left. The second he was gone, I ran. I didn't go home. I hid in a park and watched the house. Sure enough, my husband left again, probably to celebrate with Melaine. Once he was far enough, I sprinted back inside. I tore the place apart. Every cabinet, under the bed, behind the toilet, under the couch, nothing. But then it clicked. The safest place is the most dangerous. Something he knew I'd touch every day. I opened my jewelry box. He had given it to me as a gift, saying it was some famous 7-flavored Luojian craft from an ancient town. I peeled away at the layers, and then I found it. A talisman paper. 2 puppets. The larger puppet was made to look like me. Its stomach was cut open, empty inside. A red thread ran through its body, connecting it to the smaller puppet. A baby boy. My hands shook. In the doll's tiny hand was a miniature sword. It was stabbed straight into the heart of the bigger puppet. And suddenly I felt it, a cold pressure pressing down on my back, a tiny voice giggling in my ear. I was dying. I bit my finger, let the blood drip onto the red talisman paper. The second it touched the surface, white smoke sizzled up from it. The weight on my back lifted. My body slowly felt mine again. I shoved everything into the red paper that Granny Cheen had given me and bolted. When she saw what I found, her face went pale. "This is an evil technique," she whispered. "A forbidden ritual. It's been used more than once. If you hadn't caught it in time..." I swallowed. "Can I survive?" She nodded. "Yes, but they won't stop until they get what they want." She burned the puppets with a flick of her fingers. The flames ate through them in seconds. I should have felt relieved, but I wasn't, because I wasn't done yet. I clenched my fists, rage boiling under my skin. My husband and Melaine planned this together. They thought they could kill me, steal my life, and get away with it. A plan started forming in my head. I wasn't just going to survive. I was going to make them pay. Granny Cheen handed me the talisman, her wrinkled fingers pressing it into my palm. "You want him to suffer? Make him reflect on himself? Fine. Burn this to ashes. Find a way to make him eat it. But listen," she lowered her voice. "It only works for an hour." I swallowed hard. "Got it. Thank you, Auntie Cheen." I wasn't doing this for revenge. Not really. I left her place, slipping an extra $1,000 into her hands. Consider it payment for the talisman. But before I walked away, I told her, this wasn't over. I still needed her help, because the people who wanted to hurt me, none of them were getting away. But there was something else. Something she had said. "The people who hurt you, they haven't just hurt you." That line stuck in my head, gnawing at me. What did she mean? I needed answers. I made a call. "Hey, I need you to investigate someone. Can you get results in 5 hours?" A pause. "Ma'am, 5 hours is tight. We'd need at least a day." I didn't hesitate. 10,000. Cash. The 4 detectives exchanged glances. Then one of them shrugged. "All right, deal." While they worked, I went to my parents' house, telling them everything. They were furious, calling Wayne every name under the sun. "We're not letting you go back there," my mother insisted. But I shook my head. I have to go back. Otherwise, how will they ever pay for what they've done? That evening, the detectives sent over their findings. And what I read made my stomach turn. Wayne's mother's real name was Penny Han. She was abandoned as a child, raised in a Taoist temple. She learned things, yin and yang rituals, forbidden arts. But at some point, they cast her out. Then she met Wayne's father, got married, had a baby, and the second Wayne was born. His father vanished. No body, no trace, just gone. And then there was Melaine, that childhood sweetheart he just happened to reconnect with. The medical report showed she was infertile. So how the hell did she get pregnant? And the house she claimed she used to live in before moving back home, it wasn't just hers. She, my husband, and my so-called mother-in-law had been living there together. Behind my back. I shoved money into the detectives' hands, thanked them, and left. On my way home, I stopped at an electronics shop and picked up a few micro cameras. I hid them in the corners of my house, where they wouldn't notice. Then I made a call. "Melaine, come over for dinner tonight. I'm making your favorite braised ribs." She said yes without hesitation. I sent Wayne a text, too. "Dear, I invited Melaine for dinner. Come home early, okay?" That night, they walked in together, all smiles. "Wifey dear," Wayne said. I ran into Melaine outside, so we came home together. Melaine grinned, wrapping her arms around me in a hug. "Did you finish the house paperwork?" Wayne glanced at the forged house deed I had placed on the table. His eyes lit up. I fought back a smirk. People like them, who have never owned real property, wouldn't know a fake deed if it slapped them in the face. "Go wash your hands," I said sweetly. "Dinner's almost ready." I turned back to the kitchen, lit the anti-blood talisman, ground the ashes into powder, and mixed it into the food. I watched them eat, my heart hammering. Then suddenly dizziness. My eyelids grew heavy. My whole body felt sluggish. No. I forced myself up and stumbled to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. I pulled out my phone, checking the hidden camera feed. My blood ran cold. I watched the footage. Melaine had slipped something into my drink. A sleeping pill. That bitch. I splashed my face with cold water, trying to shake off the haze. I just escaped one curse. I couldn't let them drug me into another. Could the anti-blood talisman counteract the drug? I didn't know, but I had to hold on. A knock at the door. "Lynn?" Melaine's voice. Fake concern. "Are you okay? You've been in there a while." I swallowed hard, forced my voice steady. "I'm fine. I'll be out soon." I gripped the sink. My vision blurred. The knocking turned into pounding. "Lynn, come out. Don't hide in there." "Melaine," Wayne's voice snapped, dropping the act. "Stop wasting time. Just kick the door down." I heard him step closer. I heard the rage in his voice. I knew then, if they got to me, I wasn't walking out of this house alive. I pressed my bleeding tongue to the roof of my mouth, trying to stay conscious. "Melaine, Wayne." My voice came out hoarse. "You two heartless monsters." "Lynn," Melaine whined, still pretending. "I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted to save my son. He won't live long, Lynn. Only you can save him." She was practically sobbing now, banging on the door. Wayne stood guard outside. They weren't letting me leave. I curled my fists, nails digging into my palm. I was so tired, but I couldn't let them win. My vision blurred. The door creaked open. "Mom, bring the baby over." "I've tied her up." Wayne's voice cut through the haze. I felt myself stirring, slowly, sluggishly. The anti-blood talisman was working. I was tied up, red silk binding my wrists. Melaine noticed me waking up. She strode over, gripping my chin between her icy fingers. "Oh, you're awake already?" She smirked, her nails digging into my skin. "Shame, it's going to hurt a lot soon." Her laugh was like nails on glass. I narrowed my eyes. "Melaine, you're infertile. How did you get pregnant?" Her face twisted. "How do you know that?" I already knew, but I needed to hear it from her. If the talisman was working, they wouldn't be able to hold back the truth. Melaine's expression flickered, then settled into something darker. "You really don't get it, do you?" She sneered. "I grew up with Wayne. We were supposed to be together. If it weren't for his precious mother saying I couldn't have children, we would have been married a long time ago." My stomach turned. "You let him marry someone else just for their family line?" Melaine's lips curled. "I love Wayne. I was willing to endure it. Unlike you." Her voice dripped with venom. "But I should thank you, really. Meeting you in college was a blessing. A woman destined to bear children." A pit opened in my stomach. "My mother-in-law told me," she continued, her eyes flashing, "if we sacrificed you once a year, the offspring would be mine instead." Cold horror ran down my spine. That's why I had been married for so long and never once gotten pregnant. Because they had been taking my unborn children. Wayne had even reassured me, told me not to worry, told me to take it easy. So that was it. I clenched my jaw. "Then why do you want to kill me now? You got what you wanted." Melaine's smile faltered. I saw it then, fear. Panic. She hesitated for just a second before whispering. "It's not me. It's our son. He's sick. A genetic disease." My heart pounded. "Genetic." I choked out. "But Wayne is fine." The realization crashed over me like a tidal wave. Wayne had never been sick. Never so much as caught a cold. He had never even bled from a simple cut. I stared at him, horror creeping in. Something wasn't right. Melaine opened her mouth to explain, but Wayne lunged forward. "Shut up," he barked. His hand gripped a fruit knife. The blade gleamed under the light. He was smiling. He raised the knife, aiming for my chest. I screamed. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for the pain. But then a choked gasp. A thud. I snapped my eyes open. Melaine lay on the ground. Her hands clutched her chest. Blood pooled beneath her. The knife, the one meant for me, was buried deep inside her heart. Wayne's eyes widened in shock. I started laughing. Hysterical, bitter laughter. He had tried to take my heart blood, but the anti-blood talisman had other plans. Wayne turned to me, his face twisted in fury. "Bitch! What kind of witchcraft did you use?" I stared back at him, my breathing ragged. "So, you did hear everything that night," he muttered. I watched as he clenched his fists, but what I saw behind him made my blood run cold. Thick black smoke. It curled around his body like living tendrils, like something not human. I suddenly understood. Wayne wasn't alive. Not really. He had been resurrected. Again and again. Maybe he had never been normal. Maybe he wasn't even capable of dying. I swallowed. "Why don't you take her to a hospital?" I said mockingly. "She's dying." Wayne scoffed. "You don't need to worry about that." His voice was eerily calm. "My mother will be here soon, and then we'll deal with you." I thought he had loved Melaine, but watching him now, I realized the truth. He didn't care about her. He only cared about continuing the bloodline. A sharp voice cut through the air. "What did you do?" The old blind woman burst into the room. Her steps were unsteady, but her presence was suffocating. She turned to Wayne, gripping his arms. "Wayne, we have to save Melaine. She's dying." Her voice cracked, but Wayne didn't answer. Her wrinkled hands hovered over Melaine's cold body. Then her expression changed. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Even if we take her to the hospital now, she won't survive." His jaw clenched. "But," she continued, "we must continue the bloodline." I sucked in a breath. Wayne wasn't the monster. His mother was. Melaine's eyes fluttered open just barely. She turned her head toward the blind old woman. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. The light faded from her eyes. She was dead. The blind old woman placed a strange, yellowed paper on my chest. "Do it, Wayne." He stepped forward, gripping the knife tightly. His eyes burned with rage. "Bitch," he spat. "You're going to pay with your life." The blade gleamed as he raised it high. Then, a blinding light erupted from the jade pendant around my neck. For a split second, the entire room was drenched in an eerie glow. Wayne's expression twisted into something unnatural. A dark, thick smoke began to pour from his skin. It oozed from his pores, swirling around him like living shadows. His body began to shrink, collapsing in on itself like a deflating balloon. I watched in horror as, within moments, the only thing left of him was his skin. An empty husk. Limp. Hollow. The black smoke, now free from its vessel, slithered across the room, taking on a ghastly, shifting human shape. The old woman's eyes widened. "No! Stop it!" She shrieked, scrambling forward. The shadow barely acknowledged her. It flicked a wisp of darkness in her direction. She flew backward like a rag doll, slamming into the wall with a sickening thud. Panic twisted in my gut. Wayne is gone. Or maybe he was never really here to begin with. The shadow turned toward me. It laughed, a strange, guttural sound that made my skin crawl. Before I could move, tendrils of darkness shot out, wrapping around my body. I was lifted into the air, weightless and helpless. Then it threw me. I slammed against the wall, then bounced off the sofa. A sharp crack echoed as pain shot up my arm. I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to move. My body screamed in protest. But the shadow was already advancing again. It lunged, just as it was about to consume me. A sharp, commanding voice rang out. "Enough!" Granny Chin. She moved with eerie calm, her fingers stretching unnaturally long. With one swift motion, she gripped the shadow's smoky form, her fingers sinking in like claws. It writhed, screeched. She held tight. Then, from her robe, she pulled out a small, intricate object, an octagonal tower. The moment she held it up, the shadow howled. It twisted, shrieked, thrashed. Then, in one final desperate lurch, it was sucked inside. Silence. I gasped for breath. The red silk bindings around me loosened and fell away with a mere flick of her finger. The blind old woman dragged herself forward, her eyes wet with fury. "You," she whispered. "It was you all along." Her gaze locked onto Granny Chin, burning with hate. "Why?" she croaked. "I was so close. We did it once. It worked before. Why did you have to interfere?" Chin shook her head. "Look at your son," she said simply. The old woman's face twisted in rage. "He succeeded. He lived for so long. If it weren't for you..." Her voice broke into a wail. She clawed at the floor, dragging herself toward Chin. "Give him back," she sobbed. "Give me back my son." Chin barely blinked. With a simple flick of her fingers, the old woman let out a choked gasp. Blood spilled from her lips. Blackness spread from the wound, crawling over her skin like rot. She collapsed, lifeless. Chin sighed. "Karma," she murmured. "You harm others, and in the end you harm yourself." I clutched my chest, my heart still hammering. Later that night, I went to her house, pressing $20,000 into her hands. "Thank you," I said, "for saving my life." Chin chuckled, waving it off. "No need. My job here is done." Then she fixed me with a knowing look. "Auntie," I asked hesitantly, "you already knew, didn't you? About Wayne?" She nodded. He was also revived once, but not by his mother, by his father. A chill ran down my spine. His father's method was cruel. That's why the resentment never left. I swallowed. "So what was Wayne then? A ghost?" Granny Chin hesitated, then said, "He was a shadow wearing human skin." I shuddered. I had been with that thing for years, shared a life with it. The police arrived not long after. They checked the surveillance footage. Their faces paled. If I hadn't installed those cameras, I wouldn't have been able to explain what happened. Not in a million years. As they worked, I pulled Chin aside, lowering my voice. "Auntie, what happened to Wayne's father? His real body?" She glanced at me. Then, in a hushed voice, she replied, "Some secrets are better left buried." Her words left me cold. But a few days later, the news came out. In a remote village, a well had been uncovered. Inside, they found a massive water tank. Inside that tank were human remains. Male, adult, dead for 25 years. His bones were still intact. But the cause of death? Brutal. The report barely scratched the surface. But I already knew the truth. Wayne's father, Henry, had been sacrificed. Thrown into a special herb mixture, his body corroded over time. Every single day, Wayne's mom had drained his blood, kept him alive barely for years. Even when his organs started failing, they kept him hanging on. His vocal cords had been cut out, just to stop him from screaming. I felt sick, sicker than I'd ever felt before. This wasn't just a crime. It wasn't just a murder. It was something far worse. The nightmare was over. But even as I tried to move on, I felt it. A lingering shadow. A reminder of what I had seen. At the very end, before disappearing into the crowd, Granny Chin gave me something. A small, round pill. "For your body," she said. "It will help you recover." And then, she smiled at me. A knowing, secretive smile.